Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to announce that this is the first podcast of my channel, and we have a very special guest, and he is the CEO of a firm called as TakeProfitTrader, which is a proprietary trading firm. And he is going to be giving us a lot of insights into the prop trading industry. He's also going to, share with us his thoughts on the rules and how Take Profit Trader as a prop firm differs from the other firms. So this is going to be one of the best, videos that you will ever watch on this channel. This is a podcast and a frank conversation with the CEO of the prop firm that is Take Profit Trader. So enjoy, sit back, relax, and I'm sure that you will get a lot of insights from the back door of the people who are actually running the prop firm, and there are lots of insight that he shares in this conversation. So without further ado, enjoy the podcast. Okay, here we go. So first of all, welcome, James. I really appreciate you taking time to do this podcast. I'll just give a little bit introduction. So James is a CEO of Take Profit Trader, proprietary trading firm, which funds the future traders. And it's a really great firm. And I'm really excited to have you to know and, to take the guidance and do this podcast. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And guys, just so you know that I'm sometimes looking over to the right, is because that's where my screen is. My camera's on the left here. So I'm not trying to look away from you when I'm listening to you, Advait. I'm looking at you over there. So that's why.
Sure. So how are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you, Advait. Nice to be on.
So I was reading about you guys, and I just wanted to know, like, what was you have been a trader yourself, and what was your motivation to start the prop firm and do this?
We have a lot of these conversations, and I was just like everybody else. There's like that kind of flocks to trading. It kind of checked all the boxes for me. I've spoken about this at length before about, you know, how do I create the sort of life that I wanted, where I'm not chained to the desk, I'm not owned by somebody else, essentially like a corporate job. These were the things that I had in my, let's call it my previous life, in professional sport. And I never wanted to lose that. In a way, you could say that in professional sport, you are kind of owned by somebody, by a certain organization or a team. And so it's a little bit different, but I loved the flexibility of trading, just kind of like everybody else. Was naive at first of like, oh, this is going to be, just have my own gig and, make all this money. And God, I was so wrong. And that's really to answer your question about the prop firm. I had found prop along the way, and got the help of somebody that had some deeper pockets. That turned the light bulb on for me, as like, oh, like, you know what? It wasn't my trading strategy. It was more of like, I was just so grossly underfunded that that's what I kind of needed. And there's other traders out there kind of like me. So that's really how the whole game started. And this was, way before, prop became, like, before COVID and before prop came in vogue. Like, this was, you're going back to 2011, 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I don't even know how long it is, that rate, to be honest with you. But, where my journey started, and way before this, like, prop firm thing was a thing, and there were 15 firms out there and everybody's competing. So yeah, that's kind of like the Cliff's Notes version of it there.
So I believe that we are truly lucky to have lived and started our journey in this time where we have lots of prop trading firms at our disposal, and there is no complaint about funding. So now the question is, like, we have to choose from one from 15 different firms, and I myself, I have dealt with multiple prop trading firms, and I found your firm has a distinctive feature, some that I really appreciate, and one of them is you have crystal clear rules, and I really appreciate that. But such simplicity and such crystal clear rules are very rare these days. So, what's your, thinking or mindset behind such a simple thing?
Yeah, it's a great question. As there's more competition in the market, what happens is that the rules have gotten a lot better for the trader. So this is something that people ask us about at Take Profit. And it's like, okay, and back in 2011, there was one team, there was one game in town, and it was Top Step Trader. And it's a great firm. Like, Top Step is great. And I don't, we at Take Profit, we don't shit on anybody, right? It's just like we do things one way, they do things another way. But when there's less competition in any market, this is not even just trading, you can kind of do what you want. Now with all the competition, there's more, it's better for the trader. The rules are better for the trader. The payouts are better for the trader. Everything's better for the trader. And that's the way we're moving. And that's the way we're going to continue to move, right? As firms continue to enter the space. And that's kind of my whole thing with Take Profit Trader when I originally started, because when I started trading, was like, hey, like funding is cool, but there's always this there's always like some kind of a fine print or red tape. And it's like, a lot of times it was around getting paid. And I know we're going to get to this probably. It was like, okay, you can make this money and it's cool that I have this account, but then like, what's the point if I can't take the money out? Right.
Yeah.
So, we've just tried to simplify the rules. And this is a dance, Advait. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a dance to, you always hear firms talk about risk management, because that's the only way as a firm that you can make it in this industry. You got to think about risk first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. All right. So the rules have to be advantageous for the trader, but also have to be sustainable for the firm as well. And, a lot of times I think when a trader talks about rules and stuff, they look at it through their lens, but you got to look at it through the whole lens, because it's not just Advait that's trading with Take Profit Trader. It's, it could be, 20, 50, 100 other funded traders. And we have to look at this holistically as a whole, right? We can't look at it through the lens of just one trader, one specific type of trading. So there's a lot that, like I said, you can understand it. It's a dance with, how all of this stuff works. But at the end of the day, we try to make the rules as clear as we can and pay out almost instantly, so that the trader ultimately gets the best experience. And because that's what's going to keep traders at Take Profit Trader, and not just like bouncing around between the firms.
Sure. And one thing I would like to really emphasize on is, yes, you do have rules that focus on risk management, and yes, you do have strict rules. One thing I wanted to appreciate is you also do have great account sizes. So when you say you have a 150K account, but at the same time you give the independence and privilege to traders to trade 15 contracts, and you don't have that scaling plan which other prop firms do. So we don't have to worry about, okay, how many contracts can I trade today, how many contracts can I trade tomorrow. We don't, so that overhead is eliminated in your firm. So I really appreciate that we can actually trade 15 contracts on day one if we are confident and if our risk management is okay. So I really appreciate that. Moving on to payouts, since you mentioned, uh, I cannot emphasize more that this is probably one of the best payouts in the industry. Personally, I was able to withdraw it on day one. And I really appreciate the fact that I don't have to wait for 15 days, 30 days, in some cases 90 days to get my first paycheck. So I was just wondering, if you guys can do this, why not other firms? And how do you achieve this incredible fast payouts?
It's a good question, and I don't know when the last time you've taken a withdrawal, Advait, but we've recently, in the last week, introduced Plaid into our platform. So now it's even more secure and even faster. And I'm not sure if your users if I could maybe steal the screen from you real quick and share something. Can I present
Sure.
something on the screen? I'm not sure if
Absolutely, sure.
I'm just going to share a tab. Plaid is something that I wanted to highlight on this call if we could. Um,
Sure.
it's a way that, and some of your listeners will probably know, Advait, but it's a way that we don't have to ask anybody for any account information or anything like that. Plaid does it, and it links our back end to your bank account. So if you have a bank account at Chase or Bank of America, you type in your banking credentials. We never see it. Plaid never sees it. And then what they have now is real-time payments. So real-time payments means exactly what it sounds like, is that when you request the withdrawal, our admin approves it usually within an hour. And then it's up to you now to take the money from your wallet and link up Plaid with Take Profit Trader, and boom, the money is in your bank account in real time. And it usually takes less than a minute. So trying to, really double down on what we, and I'll stop presenting now, really double down on what we think traders want. And that's like getting paid right away. And also, like, it's important too that, traders' information is protected. We don't see any information. We don't, hold any information on our side. It's a simple, um, connection between us and Plaid and you, and nobody sees your privileged information. So not only do you get the enhanced security, but you also get even faster payouts than before, because now we're not using deal. So there's no like, okay, you get the money, then it's got to go over to deal, and then you got to take it to your bank account, but you got to have an account over there. Then you got to set up your account to connect to your bank account. There's always like these multiple steps, and we've tried to, streamline that as best as possible.
So this is incredible, incredible. So I took my last withdrawal back in 2023 December, and I still remember because it was not even a day. So I requested it on Friday, and it was, I think I received my money within 24 hours. So now with this latest Plaid, technology, I think it will be even in real time. So this is
Yeah.
incredible.
And,
Like
and
it's
and Advait, did not to cut you off there, but just to say one step further, like when you got paid in December, I I paid you like manually. Okay. So that's how it was. That's how it's working. Right. So, that's us working, during the weekends and stuff like that. But also ultimately, like, I'm a human, I sleep too. Right. In this way, if somebody's up in the middle of the night in California and I'm already asleep, well, they can still get their money in real time. They don't even have to wait for me to wake up and enter it manually. Right. So, that's because that was post deal. Remember, deal used to do the payouts, but then they dropped all prop firms. So it used to be like, we used to like, that's over there. Now it was like we were building Plaid, and of course these things take time. So in the meantime, it's like, okay, well, we'll just like physically pay out the traders, and we'll do it as fast as we can, because that's our duty to the trader. And now we've launched this last week, and people are able to do it instantaneously by themselves without any intervention from us, which is like ultimately the best for you and the best for us.
this is probably one of the best features out there that can help traders, because traders are also human beings. They got to pay bills, and they do, I don't want them to wait unnecessarily. And this is even taking one level ahead. It is in real time, so this is really incredible. So great job, from you and your team. I also wanted to, ask you about this. Like every time I have interacted with, Take Profit Trader website and your customer service, it is incredibly fast. And it is incredibly, helping. Like the people behind, the firm are really supportive. So, how I'm just trying to know, like, how do you build such a team which is instantaneously responsive, which is answered by real human beings, and so helping? So if you can shed some light on it.
Yeah, I mean, our team is great, and the we have a little bit of an advantage though, because like I played hockey. Most people know that my former life I was a professional athlete, and most of that time I spent in Europe. So I built these connections over there with guys I played with. So basically, what it's allowed us to do is we have a group of people in Europe that are able to work different hours than the ones that we have in the United States, but that I know personally. This isn't something that's outsourced to a company and you never know who's behind the screen. I know every individual in our organization. It's just that we have the advantage of they're kind of all over the place, right? So that helps with two things. That helps with the I know what we're getting, and I only have the I have a very can't think of the word right now. I'm very particular about like who can represent Take Profit Trader, and I don't want to like outsource that to a company that I don't know who they're hiring. So like we hire all of those people. I know who they are, so I know what we're getting, and I know ultimately like what the customer is getting because that's what's most important. So, to be able to have these guys and, the guys that are in the U.S., I trained in jujitsu with a lot of them. So when I retired, I still had my competitive juices, and I did some jujitsu for a bit. I met these guys at the gym, super disciplined guys. I'm like, hey, so we got those good. We got some guys over there, and I know what I get from them, and they're very, very diligent. And so it's just a mix, Advait, to be honest with you. And I know them all personally, and the team has grown, but I always know what I'm going to get because I know them personally, right? And it comes through in the customer experience. It's like if somebody's not doing well, I pick up the phone and go, hey, like what's going on? And it's not like the first time they've ever heard from me. I have a personal connection with them. So again, all of these things that we try to do is like we try to do it's no secret. Everybody's kind of doing the same thing in this organization. So how do you do it better than the next guy? How do you have better customer service? How do you care more for your customer? It's like, you know, it comes through in the customer service. It comes through in payouts. It comes through in product. Even if you're using the same thing, you just got to do it better. And that's what we try to do at Take Profit.
So I will talk from a trader's lens, and this is my real life feedback. So I've been trading with this firm of yours, and what I realized is now I don't have to worry about the tools, the back end overhead, and I don't have to worry about the time as well, because you literally save every hour. So the things that I used to do in the past took me a lot of days to just get in touch of them. So this is really in real time. So just wanted to tell you that from a trader's perspective, you are eliminating a lot of bottleneck, and that really helps us, right? That leapfrogs us in our time schedules and everything. So
Yeah.
just wanted to appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good point to advocate, but remember, like, I was a trader too. So I know all those pain points. I know the pain points of like getting accounts set up with a broker. I know like setting up platforms, not knowing how to set up the data connection. All of these things make the barrier to entry just so high when you're starting. And like part of the thing that we're trying to do is eliminate all of that, because you can be behind a computer for days and weeks on end and you haven't even taken a trade yet. You're talking about getting accounts set up. You got to send a DNA sample, I think, these days to get a brokerage account set up. It's just crazy how long everything. I don't mean that like literally. I just mean like it's just so frustrating of how long everything takes with all the rules and the regulations. And so, we're just trying to make it easier for the trader. So there's not all of this administrative crap that you got to go through, and administrative crap, not only with the accounts, but I'm talking about with, platforms and licenses and, paying for this platform, paying for that platform. How do I get the data set up? All of that stuff is like, okay, it's done. Now all you got to do is trade, which is the hardest part, but at least it's not the most frustrating, like time wasting part of it.
So you really touched a very important part, and I wanted to also bring this point. So regarding the tools and platforms, I see and I have experienced it myself that Take Profit Trader has some really good partnerships with the portals like TradeAway. And why I'm discussing this is because you have a feature in which we can actually have three accounts at once. and we can actually trade in all the three accounts simultaneously at once. And doing this setup itself takes a lot of time. It's a lot of buggy. But when I joined this firm and when I started using Trader Wait, it was so seamless and it was so error free. So the first thing is, thanks, to give us the ability to have three accounts simultaneously and trade on it. But I want to know your mindset or thought process of you giving multiple accounts and letting us trade. So how does that benefit traders to have multiple accounts, and what was your motivation behind this offering?
So first thing I'll say is that, tech, especially when we don't own the tech, is uh, something that I'll tell traders before we have this conversation about trading copiers is that uh, there's always an aspect that it could not work, right? So it's like you said, it works really well for the most part, but I have to say that it doesn't work perfectly all the time. And what he's alluding to, if you're new out there listening, is that you have the ability to take profit trader to trade multiple accounts at the same time. So you essentially, the way this works is if you have three accounts, you hook up one as the leading account, and then the other, whichever other accounts you want to follow, we allow three. That's not a limitation on TradeOvate side. That's what we've said. And what that allows you to do is allows you to, you know, leverage yourself a little bit more and potentially make more money, right? So that's why I'd like to give you an answer to your question about why we did it is because that's what the traders wanted. Okay, the traders have asked and asked and asked, and usually when the traders ask, we say, okay, if we're looking at risk with one, two, three, 4, and 5, like I told you before, how can we make this work inside our risk parameters? So the traders wanted it. We found a way to give it to them. And if you probably the next question people ask is, wait, why 3 and not 5 and not 10? It's because at some point when you're trading leveraged instruments, like how much do you really need before we start to say that's a little bit weird? Like who needs to make, you know, 10 or 20 accounts of 150K. Like, in order to trade the equivalent, you'd have to open up an account at Robinhood with $5 million if you're trading 10 accounts for 15 contracts in each account. You're trading 150 accounts, you multiplying it by 50 times the index. It's like the numbers start to get out of hand. So I always ask myself, you know, why did somebody need to trade that much? Because we at Take Profit are always like, slow down, guys. Slow down. You don't need to knock it out of the park on day one. Sure, if you do, great. But like we're talking about longevity here. You can make plenty with 3 accounts and not need 5, not need 10. And like 3 is it's like, I'll be honest with you, 3 is arbitrary, but it's something that's like, hey, we give you more than, but like, do you really need 10? Like I have a hard time, believing that you need any more than that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I completely agree with all your points. And just to put it out there, even with 3 accounts, you can trade incredible number of contracts. So just to put it out there, with that 3 accounts, you can trade a total of 45 contracts. And even if the position goes in favor of 5 points, it's $4,500. So it's not that you cannot make money. It's just that the point over here, as James mentioned, it's all about risk management. So it is possible to make a reasonable amount of money with less number of contracts. So I just wanted to put this out there that you don't need 10 different accounts to make a reasonable amount of money. Over in the long run, just be a good consistent trader, and that's what is going to yield better results. So
That's right.
I
That's right.
completely Yep, I completely agree with you on that, James. And I really appreciate that, we still do have an ability to trade 3 accounts. So nobody should have any, complaints regarding that. So I
And I
really
mean, like,
appreciate that.
yeah, but there are firms that give more, and like, more power to them. The problem is like when you open up Pandora's box, because then you open up to become like like a lottery ticket. We don't want the accounts treated like lottery tickets when, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for either party, like for the longevity of the trader or the longevity of the firm. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you're thinking about it in a risk, in a risk management. And I understand why people want to do it. I'll be clear about that. Like, I understand because like more accounts is, potentially more money, but guys, trading is hard. Like it's not like, okay, I got more accounts, I'm going to make more money. It's like, yeah, more accounts, you could lose more money too. And we got to think about, we got to think about that as well. So, yeah, there's so much more than just saying more accounts, more money. It's like, yeah, that leverage cuts both ways.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a double-edged sword. So
Yeah.
let that be out there,
Yeah.
uh, one thing I wanted to highlight is I have seen some really quality, tutorials on your Take Profit Trader YouTube channel. So if somebody wants to actually have an access to that education, do you have any place or any playlist or anything that they can I can point them to?
There is a some beginner stuff on YouTube. For the education part, what ends up happening is it becomes a pretty heavy lift when you have interactive material on there. So we do have some stuff on YouTube. I was doing the morning ideas every day, and we have discontinued them for now for some reasons that I won't talk about on here. But it's what we found, Advait, was a lot of people were like, I got my, when we leaned into the education, most people we found out were just doing their own thing anyway. And we're like, I've got this kind of thing. And it's like, okay. So we've more leaned into all of our stuff is like, guys, here's how well Advait did today. You're probably not going to do that well, right? It's like, be realistic. This is trading and it's hard. Like, slow down. My best thing I can tell somebody about is not about some line on a chart. It's like, slow down, guys. Slow down. Trade less often. We had 50 execution rule to try to stop people from trading. People hated it, so we just got rid of it. And like, people are doing worse because we got rid of it, because they think, oh man, now I can trade more, and now they're doing worse. And that's the whole reason we had it there in the first place. And it's like, so we could tell people things, and I'm the same. I used to do a thing. Yeah, that sounds great, but I'm going to do it my way. It's like your grandmother telling you, don't put your hand on the burner because it's going to burn you. But eventually you have to burn yourself before you realize, hey, maybe I should listen. Maybe I should listen to that. Right?
And yep.
Go ahead.
And also to add emphasize on what you said, this is really important because this is coming out from the CEO of a prop firm, and because you have the visibility and much more credible data and much more good incentive to tell this, because it's coming from you who actually sees what is happening in real time with a lot of traders. So when you say slow down, people really need to listen. So that's why we are doing this, because when people say slow down, or when people say concentrate on risk management, they don't believe. But this here you are, you don't have any vested interest in people slowing down, because you're hurting your own top line. But
Exactly.
that's
I'm glad you understand that, because the faster
yeah.
they go, the more they're going to lose, right? And then the more often they're going to come back and have new accounts. And we've told people, but people look at it through, this is what I was talking about earlier, is a trader. And I understand, guys, I'm not standing on a soapbox telling people that they're dumb or they're this or that. I'm just saying that because I was a trader. It's like, yeah, I get it, but I'm going to do it my way. It's like, when there's rules in place that we just took away, like 50 executions, and everybody would say, that's so dumb, let me trade how I want. I get it. But I'm just saying, like you had just mentioned, I see the data. I see that there's an inverse correlation, okay, almost a perfectly inverse correlation with the amount of trades somebody takes in a day and their P&L. Okay. So, again, we've removed the rule, and then we get, it's a lot of like, guys, I told you, but the group was loud enough. They were like, we don't care. We want to trade how we want. It's like, okay, go for it. But it does not benefit you to trade more or to trade bigger. So we're doing the opposite of what's good for, the business. Is saying slow down, guys. Less contracts, trade the micros, trade less contracts, trade less often, do less, and you'll do better.
So
In general, in general.
so this can't be more, this is the biggest proof, because in this world of capitalism, right, where people wants to make a lot of money, extract every juice from customers, here's a CEO giving a genuine advice to people which he knows that is going to hurt his revenue, but still he wants to give genuine advice for longevity, and for the traders to live for a long haul. So this genuineness, and this builds trust. This is why I'm associated with Take Profit Trader. So couldn't be more frank than this. But this is exactly what is happening behind the scenes. So I hope the viewers understand that each step or each rule is for their own benefit. Yes, from time and again, you may eliminate that because the group is so loud and they want things badly. But understand that the things that you're doing is for the benefit of the traders. So
Yeah,
I'm with you on that,
yeah.
and I completely agree.
There's one thing here that I wanted to add before we go into something else, is that sometimes if a rule's in place for your benefit, it will end up hurting you, a trader. And that's what I said, the trader's lens. And look through it through the trader's lens, and their accounts taken away for breaking this or breaking that, or traded through FOMC, and they ended up, making money. And we're like, God, like we had to close your account. And guys they see it through just that lens, that narrow lens of like, my account, I broke the rules, but it's okay this time. And it's like, guys, we got to look at it as a whole, right? So there are times, and I want to be clear about this, there are times that I understand why people are upset, because it actually hurts them because their account gets taken away, right? But I always just plead with people, please look at this as if you're the owner of the firm and you're looking at multiple accounts. And if everybody did that, then we'd all be in trouble, because there'd be no take profit trader. If we let anybody do just whatever they felt like and like trade with reckless abandon, there wouldn't be prop firms. So and that's not for just take profit, all the firms out there. It's like, and I back them up, and it's not a circus. It's like risk management, risk management, risk management, risk management.
And to add 2 cents to it, to be very clear with you, um, I have seen, very like at this point, I have not seen any firm which gives you so much freedom. So even when you talk about, not trading on the news events, essentially there are only two events that you prohibit. One is the FOMC, and the other is the non-farm payroll. And to be honest with you, from a
I think the
trader's perspective,
CPI now,
okay,
because the CPI was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
double what was crazy for the market. But
Yeah, but from a trader's perspective now, when I see myself, maturing over the years 3 or 4, I completely agree, and it completely makes sense, because first of all, there are only two events: CPI, non-farm payrolls, and when our boy Jerome Powell speaks. So essentially, I have traded, these events since last 3 years, and I can conclusively tell you, it's just my opinion, that there is no risk to reward, and there is no it doesn't make sense to be in a position in those kind of events. And this is for the benefit of me, because a single long wick of 50 points can devastate me. So there's no point, even if you look from the risk reward standpoint, it doesn't make sense. And secondly, it's a very minuscule percentage of the time. So if you look at these two events, most of them are pre-market, so you don't even like it's not even cash open. So
yeah,
I don't think there is a lot to complain over here. It's just that it's for our benefit, and the sooner we understand, the better we do as a trader.
yeah,
So that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, I mean,
yeah. And the thing about the news events too is like, even if you know what they're going to say, you don't know how much it's already priced in, right? So like, good news is sometimes bad news, and somebody's like even if you had the crystal ball and you knew what your buddy Jerome Powell was going to say, you could still be going the wrong way, right? So
Absolutely.
and it goes so far so fast that, like, with the amount of contracts we let you trade because we don't have a scaling plan, it's not sustainable. So that's why we, and you don't see the reason that it's so crazy is because if you look at, if we're going to get technical here, if you look at the order book right before Powell speaks at FOMC, it's extremely thin. It's because all the
Exactly.
big money is like, I'm not going to take a chance on this. Like, they pull orders from and that's what makes the market go so far. You should do what the institutions are doing. If they're not trading it, you shouldn't be trading it either.
Absolutely, absolutely. The people who have Bloomberg Terminal, the people who have Aladdin at their disposal, if they are not willing to take the risk, then why would us, sitting on Trading View?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. There you go. There's my point. You made my point for me.
yeah, and I have realized this, and I'm sure you have also, that the spread between the bid and ask is so wide in these kind of news events before 1 or 2 minutes that you wouldn't even get a better price execution. Like that is one other point
Yeah.
to make sure that you want to, get into that position at a certain price, and there are very high chances that you won't be able to actually get that price. So, that's one thing to, note down too.
Yeah.
Um,
A guy
so,
was telling me the other day that he got slippage during news, and I'm like, well, yeah, what do you expect if you hit the market and
exactly,
there's nothing there? It's not like not like Take Profit Traders doing it. Like, Trade Evate's regulated by the CFTC. They're a broker. Like, your order's getting passed to them. We're not holding it. It's like you're trading during a time when, like, there's no liquidity.
exactly,
There's
exactly.
nothing there. Of course, you're not going to get a good price.
Exactly, exactly. I also wanted to discuss this. So you have a lot of options when it comes to, selecting the, trading portal. For example, if somebody wants to go with CQG data feed, they can go that way. If somebody wants to use Rhythmic data feed, they can go that way. So you have a lot of, diversity in your platform options. So, do you want to shed some light on it? Like, I am a CQG guy. I like TradeAway, but for someone who wants, TradingView, or for someone who wants NinjaTrader, for someone who is completely Mac based and who wants MotorWave, you got it all covered. So, if you want to,
Yeah,
shed some light on it.
I mean, we have our own solutions too. But ultimately, like, traders like what they like, and who am I to tell them what they should like, right? So, like, I'm a Trading View guy, which connects to the CQG platform, basically like NinjaTrader, TradeAway, Trading View. You can all do it through CQG. But there are guys, like, some of our best traders are like these obscure, and I call them obscure as we don't see them that often, but like Motive Wave, for instance, because you had mentioned it. This platform, and we just want to give people the opportunity to trade what they're used to. So that's really that we try to be as brand agnostic as we can. So there will be some things in the future where, we've got our own solutions and stuff like that. But for now, even when that comes, Ave, what I'll tell you is, like, even when, if I had it to roll out right now today, we're not taking away the other stuff, because we know that no matter how much you try to tell a guy to wear Nike, he might be an Adidas guy, and we're not going to try to change that, right? It's like, you gotta, this is better for you. It's like, nobody can tell you what's best for you. So we want to make sure that you have all the options, and say, if you try this, we think you'll understand why we think it's better for you. But if you don't think it's better for you, trade with what you like. Okay. And
Sure.
and that comes from a guy with a trading background that knows the pain points of, like, taking one of these things right here and chucking it because you're so tired that the platform doesn't work, or that it's laggy, or that the indicator doesn't work right. Like, I've done it all. Right. So um yeah, that's kind of an answer to that. You'll always be able to trade with what you want.
Sure. I mean, and the reason why I bring this point is because I when I came to the trading industry, and when I aspired to become a trader, the only tool I knew was TradingView. And then whenever from the time I matured, and I'm still learning. All of you guys who are out there who have multiple interest in multiple platforms, I just want to say that there's a very high chance that you are covered when you go with Take Profit Trader, because they have a lot of options, and mostly you will fall into one or the other category. And I say this out of appreciation, because there are a lot of firms which push down hard on the platform that they endorse. So it's not the case over here. So there's a freedom of choice, and we really appreciate that. So I wanted to also ask this, like when you go to the Pro Plus account category, when you pass the test, it directly the orders directly gets routed to the exchange. So I just wanted to brush upon this point that this is really amazing that you really route the orders directly to the exchange, which helps in better price discovery, and which helps in better price points the trader wants to get into. So this is really incredible, for us retail traders, because now there is no undue advantage to institutions, where the price discovery is happening at one place. So if you can shed some light on this, and the feature this feature that you give to the retail traders is really groundbreaking for me when it comes to fairness. So
Yeah, I mean, there's I'll say it first though, that there's no, like, Pro Plus is better for the trader because they're getting 90%, and they're getting some, like, better, there's some better rules, because ultimately, like, if you're one of our best traders, you're going to be in Pro Plus, and that's where we want you. Um, but that's part of the thing of working with these reputable firms, is that there's no, like, funny business going on. I mean, everybody knows in the FX side, there's been some weird things going on, where manipulation of orders, and, like, holding, things for longer than when the guy executes it. He doesn't really, the firm holds it and matches it with their own book. It's like, there's none of that stuff going on in any phone, in any account at Take Profit Trader. We send all of the orders the same to Tradeovate. But Pro Plus is awesome. They're, you're getting 90% of the profits. The orders are getting directly routed to the exchange. Yeah, it's something that, again, it's something that traders asked for, because there are other firms out there offering higher percentages, and it's like, okay, once you've proven yourself, yeah, you could take the 90%, you go directly to the exchange, and you get exactly what you want, because from a risk management side for us, like, that trader's already proven himself, usually
for sure.
multiple times over by then.
For sure.
So and we're true to our word that those losses in Pro Plus, those are eaten directly by us. But you've already earned the right to be there, right? That's what you've come to Take Profit Trader for. And by that point, you have earned it. So that's why you're there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lastly, I wanted to ask, because you are the perfect person to ask this. Like, you have seen almost countless traders, succeeding, failing, starting their journey at their peak currently. So, what is the last piece of advice that you wanted to give for someone who is starting the career, and for someone who is into this grind new, and because your opinion matters a lot, because you have seen the entire journey, and you've been the trader yourself as well. So if there's any piece of advice that you want to give, then that would be really appreciated.
Yeah, that's a great closing question too, Advait, because I have been through the whole gambit. Like, I've been through the whole cycle. And it always goes back to, even today when I'm trading, I get into trouble when I get overconfident. Usually, like, I trade my worst after a good run, right? It's because, like, I get complacent. And when I get complacent, I trade too often, and I trade too big. Okay. So it always goes back to that for me. And, like you said, it's not advantageous for the business to tell you to trade smaller and trade less often. But I'm telling you that I've seen it um, so often that a trader will come to me and if I asked 100 traders, what would make you a better trader? And they say a better system. And I say, no, no, that's not what will make you a better trader. A lot of times you have the information in your brain already to be a profitable trader. I'm not saying that, there's not, there's an edge or there's not an edge but a lot of times you trade well enough right now to trade much better if your risk was a little bit different. If you traded smaller and you traded less often. And I think that part of that goes to if you're talking about number of contracts you can trade. If you're trading 150K account and you got 15 contracts at your disposal, like you should probably be trading a small amount of that, not as many and I talk about this in the playbook. So this is nothing new. But it goes back to that. And it's so boring to hear that. It really is like as a trader, because, you get so tired of hearing risk management, but I'm just telling you from not only doing it, but seeing it on the other side is that if you show me a trader that's struggling, I'll show you a trader that's trading too much usually. Right. So that's just, it works. And if you haven't read the playbook and you're watching this, go read it, because I show you some examples of this. Of like when I log in, I want to see the biggest losers of the day. It usually coincides with the guy that's traded the most, right? And it's just the way it is. And I'm just, it's not easy. It's like a habit. It's like I still get there. I still have to go back to the basics. Okay, slow down, slow down, slow down. Try to slow myself down, because you get to a particular trading aptitude where you think where the market's going to go at all times, so you can size up a little bit, and it never ends up working out. Remember, guys, this is trillions of dollars. All right. And there's hedge funds every day that go broke. Okay. With better technology, they probably know more about the markets than you. And they still go broke. So why do we think as a retail trader that we know everything? What you should think is, I don't know anything, and I'm going to just trade my style, and I'm going to keep it small, and I'm going to just, try to plug away at this, instead of the worst thing we can do is fall in love with something and an idea that I'm going to be right. And I'm forcing that on the market, because like the market's going to make me right. It's like, no, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. They don't care about your 15 contracts, right? That's a, that's a, that's a pebble at the bottom of the river, right?
I,
And
I,
in the grand scheme of things, like it is. And that's not to sound pessimistic, because trading is an awesome opportunity for people. I'm just trying to be a realist and say, guys, like, just slow down. And that's the best advice I can give.
I couldn't agree with you more on this. I mean, everything that you said, so makes sense. It's ultimately for the betterment of traders to stay a trader for a long haul. So yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always recommended to having a profitable system is one thing, and having a discipline to execute that is another thing, right? Having the rock solid discipline, having the patience, staying out when the risk reward is not lucrative. These are the things that makes a trader. So many times I say that it's not the intelligence, but it is the discipline for what we are paid for. So discipline is what gets paid. So I completely agree with you. I'm with you on that. At last, I would like to ask, like, do you want to highlight any success story that you have seen very recently with Take Profit Trader, where a trader came in and, if you want to share that journey, or if you're allowed, I don't know, but feel free to decline. But just wanted to ask you, I'm sure there are many success stories and you've seen it
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah, there are. I mean, the thing is our IG posts most of them that are noteworthy. I mean, they're the ones coming in every day. When we're talking about withdrawals, of course, but I don't have any off the top of my head, other than, guys taking multiple withdrawals in a day. Also, guys like sticking with it, that, had a lot of accounts that, I won't name particular names, but one of these guys that I think, his name is Daniel, and he's been on our thread a lot of guy takes multiple withdrawals. He's a guy that was struggling a lot early, and he kind of turned the corner, and it's nice to see a guy that struggling enough to reach out to support, asking for help with strategy, and reaching out to me even and asking for help, um and and then you see him months later taking out 18 withdrawals in a month, right? And
Wow.
it's cool to see, right? So there's not, like, trading is not linear. You see all these things about, this is what I expect it to be like, and like this is what it's really like. You go to the loop, you're down, you're back up, you're back down, and then eventually, like, you're up here somewhere, hopefully. And not everybody gets there too, right? So, like, there's guys like Daniel, he's kind of turned the corner, um and there, and just the reality of the numbers is not everybody does,
Yeah.
and that's okay too. So, trading, I'll leave you with this: trading is difficult. Is it doable? Absolutely. Is it for everybody? Absolutely not. But it's 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 nice, man. It's nice, the freedom that it can give you, and we're just trying to make that an easier journey, if you will, right? So that you're capped at what you can lose. Like, you know, we all know all of these disclaimers when you open up a brokerage account. You can lose more than your initial investment. Well, take profit trader, you can't lose more than your initial investment. Like, you
True,
can't.
true.
Okay.
Sure.
So we can, but you can't. Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
So there are these things that we're trying to take out so that at least you know what you're capped at. And that's basically your technology fees, and that's it. So that's a big advantage. And again, like, this is for the trader. There's competition. It's better for the trader now than ever. If you're a new
Absolutely.
trader, it's better now for you than ever to get into the game, because you don't have to shoulder all the risk yourself.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. So one last question, and I'll leave you there. So if viewers wants to know more about the firm, and obviously I'm going to link all the links in the description below. But what platforms are you available, or you can be reached out to? The one thing is TakeProfitTrader.com. That is your official website, and I'm going to post all the links in the description below. But apart from that, what other platforms viewers can reach out or know more about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff's on our website, and we try to keep it pretty clean on there. And of course, we have our support. So if you guys had any questions, you can access support right from the website. Of course, our Instagram will always be showing, like, latest deals, fun things, success stories. So those are the three places I always tell people, and two of those are actually in the same place on the website. But hopefully we'll be more active on YouTube. We're waiting on some stuff for that, but um, yeah, I mean, I would say that it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for some information about how to become a trader, take profit, the best place is the website. If you're looking at how others are using it and how others are doing, and, like, some deals and some promotions, then probably Instagram would be the best. But either way, man, you'll find us, and we're real people, and just trying to make it
Really
like
appreciate.
everybody else.
Really, really appreciate that. And last but not the least, I really appreciate the promotion that you're doing right now as well, which is, a 40% off and, no activation fees. So guys, check out and take full advantage of this, ongoing promotions. I would highly recommend it. And yeah, James, really, really appreciate the time that you spent with us. And I'm really grateful for all the insights that you shared for us to become successful traders. and I will surely note down all these points and try to incorporate into my journey. And really, really grateful for that. So thank you so much for the time, and thank you so much for
No,
doing this.
no problem, brother. Happy to help. I hope this was awesome. So good luck on your journey too as a trader and a podcast connoisseur.
Sure, sure. Thanks so much. And this is my life's first one. So, hey, cheers to that.
Yeah. Congratulations, man.
Thanks. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. So that was the conversation that you heard. And to be honest with you, these are, really genuine people. And the goal of my channel is to actually bring out the best, knowledge and best tools available to the traders to empower them and to share my own journey as well. So full disclosure, I am, trading with this prop firm, and by far, this is, in my experience and in my humble opinion, the best, prop trading firm out there. So I may be biased, but the reasons are really, really compelling. So I just want to sum it up. And regarding the rules of the Take Profit Trader, they are really good. Regarding the payouts, they are really fast. Regarding the exceptional customer service, they are really good as well. And I want to say this, that there is a lot of firms and a lot of organizations doing a lot of shady things. But Take Profit Trader is a genuine, futures trading firm. They are real people, as you have seen. They're down to earth. They want to help traders out there in every way possible. So that was my honest conversation with them. And the CEO himself is so humble and so kind-hearted to actually spread genuine knowledge and to work to get the best tools out there for traders. So I'll keep posting useful information for the traders, for investors, for financial participants on my channel, and this is the goal, to share my journey and grow along. So that's the goal over here. And thanks so much for watching, and please hit that like, share, and subscribe button so that motivates us to do more and more of such quality stuff which will empower, enable, and help traders. So until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep trading.